So today I'm going to be going over the Module 5 discussion where we were tasked to interview two people of different generations about their email do's and don'ts. So the first person I interviewed was my mom. She's Generation X, and the work she does, I'd say 50% of it revolves around sending emails. Almost all the communication she does around her work is through email. So she's had at least 30 years of work experience, professional work experience, probably more, I don't exactly know. But so her email dues were to always have a formal tone, good grammar, easy organization, good structure, things like that. Have a proper introduction, always greet the person by their name, saying dear, hello, things like that, and always have a closing statement, thank you, have a wonderful day, sincerely your name. And then it's always nice to have a signature built into your emails that usually says the degrees you have, or the degree, your first and last name, a LinkedIn, other ways to communicate with you. And then her email do nots were do not use abbreviations. For example, don't, won't, can't, things like that. And never end, or don't end the email by going dash your name. Always be sincerely or thank you, comma. And then her email nevers were never use emojis and never attach pictures unless it's warranted or part of the email requirement. And then the second person I interviewed is my roommate, who's Gen Z, and she works in the LSC event planning office. And she sending emails as part of her job as well. And her email dues were to have a friendly but professional tone, know your audience, if you're emailing with a student versus alumni versus a professor, faculty, things like that. And then always provide all the information needed. So if you're talking about an event, make sure the time, date, the cost, things like that are all included. And always address the person properly if they're a doctor, professor, Mrs., Miss, Mr., things like that. And then her email do nots were do not include more people on the email than necessary, someone that knows about the situation but is not really related, or your manager when they don't really need to be included in that email. And then her do not was also do not use emojis. And then her email nevers were to never use shortcuts like LMK, WID, always just spell out the whole word. And then I feel there are quite a few differences between these two. There are definitely some similarities too, but one I thought that was kind of interesting is my mom touched on not using abbreviations like don't and stuff, and it's probably because she's not even familiar with the shortcuts let me know, LMK, things like that. So I feel the use abbreviations and the don't shorten words are very similar, even though they were explained differently. And then I feel with my mom just having more experience, she having a signature and properly ending the email. I feel those are just things that she would think of and do on a daily basis. And then my roommate, the Gen Z, her emails that she sends, my guess is most likely does have a built-in signature, so it's something that she's never really had to think of. And then like I said earlier, I thought it was interesting they both knew not to use emojis, which is just something I feel everybody knows now. And then I'd say the last thing that was kind of similar but also different is the proper introduction and goodbye. My roommate kind of touched on addressing the person properly but didn't really talk about ending the statement. Again, she does work for an office, so they might just have a format you follow. But my mom probably, with her experience, knows that it's always good to build a personal connection. So greeting the person and ending with have a good day, sincerely your name, kind of builds a more close relationship, I guess you could say. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and listening.